One, and we are officially live. Hello, guys, and welcome to the Fleming Film Show. Me and Justin are joined by Tony López to talk about our favourite films based on books. How are you guys doing?
Really great. Thank you very much to both of you for having me here. It's amazing. I was really looking forward to it, and let's make the most out of it.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Tony, since this is your first appearance on the show, would you like to reveal your number five?
My number five, I would say, is The Godfather.
Excellent choice. What do you like about The Godfather?
The movie or the book?
Both.
Both. Well,
Yeah.
the book is amazing. I don't know if you guys have read it, but it has a great construction of characters. The creation of the suspense is amazing. As I was reading it, I was feeling like I was watching the movie. So the adaptation was amazing, and the movie, well, what can we say? It's one of the greatest movies ever made. And Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Robert Duvall, Diane Keaton, James Caan. It's amazing. It has amazing cast and amazing work in every sense of the way. The direction by Coppola, it was mesmerizing. So what cannot be said about The Godfather? Incredible,
It is incredible. I like The
Did
Godfather. I prefer Godfather Part 2, though.
amazing as well.
Did you read the book after you saw the movie, Tony?
I saw the movie first, then I started to read the books from the 101 books you have to read before you die. And The Godfather was there,
Yeah.
so I bought the book, I read it, and it was incredible.
Nice.
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 And
Great
are
choice.
all the movies based on books that you've seen? You've also read the book as well?
Most of the times, yeah, I
Yeah, that's
I
interesting
can
because
I can say that, yeah.
out of my five, I've only read two books, two of the five. I'm not, the biggest reader, but
No, I prefer
yeah,
reading stuff off the internet, but I have heard audio plays as well, so that's helped.
yeah. The Audible is helping a lot now. People can it's like a podcast. You just listen to a book
Yeah.
while you're driving or working or whatever. But yeah, excellent choice. Godfather is a fantastic movie. No, I guess not only is the book on the 100 books before you die, or read before you die, but The Godfather is in the top, what is it, 10 of all time movies on AFI list.
Yeah, I think it was
So
in number two before it's right after Shawshank Redemption.
nice, yeah. Yeah. So fantastic all around. Think you picked a good one here.
Thank you.
Nice. Excellent choice. Right, it's Justin's turn to let us know his number five. What's your number five?
All right. Well, this I had to put this in here because what was going to be my number one doesn't count because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the book came after the movie, so I can't put that on my list. So my backup is a tie for 8 movies because it's the entire Harry Potter series. I've read book 1 and book 7. I have not read the ones in between, but both books were phenomenal. And then, of course, all the movies as a whole is one of the biggest franchises that we've had in our history, and also based on books. J.K. Rowling really hit a gold mine, and
Just
continuing to
saying
be
she's
with
a bad
now.
person.
Well, yes, I know. If we talked about how bad people are outside of their actual creative world, we wouldn't even talk about their creative world anymore. But
Exactly.
yeah, she did a fantastic job because it not only appeals to the younger audience, but it appeals to people who are older. It's they're easier reads, like high school level reading, but it really, for adults and kids alike, it really works well. And yeah, she's still going strong with the Fantastic Beasts series now. She's just raking it in. So yeah, my number five is the entire Harry Potter franchise, just because of what they mean now to the movie culture and movie world.
Yeah.
Because of their books.
One of the Harry Potter films is in my list.
Okay, yeah. Mine was a last minute picks, so that was the reason why I kind of did that way. But yeah, I guess we'll talk more about one of them later.
Sweet. So can I tell you my number 5?
Have you read any of the books, Tony?
I have read the 7 books, and one of the books is on my list as well. So we're going to be talking about it later, of course.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Great.
So you
Fantastic.
guys ready to hear my number 5?
Hit us.
My number 5 is literally, I just remembered what it was because I haven't had a chance to write a list today because I just finished work. But I'm number 5, and I haven't really read many of these books. Like Justin, I'm not really a book kind of guy. I'm more of a movie kind of guy. I'm just rated this up by what movies entertain me. My number 5 isn't necessarily a movie that entertains me, but it's a movie that moves me. And it's based on a book by Stephen King, who is one of the greatest authors of all time. This movie stars Tom Hanks and the late, great Michael Clark Duncan, and it's Green Mile. I think this movie is fantastic because it's a massive tearjerker. I was introduced to a lot of actors in the film: Harry Dean Stanton, David Morse, and who is one of my favorite actors now, Sam Rockwell. This has a fantastic cast, some brilliant performances, and is from my favorite year of movies, 1999, and another movie from that year appears on this list as well. But yeah, overall, I think whoever hasn't seen this needs to at least watch this once. I understand if you will never watch this film again because of its subject matter, but Green Mile is a fantastic movie, which is definitely worth the watch. Have you guys seen this movie before?
I have watched it, and I read the book as well. They're amazing. Actually, Stephen King said that this was one of the examples in which the film is far much better than the actual book. I think I once wrote that Frank Darabont should buy the rights of the whole Stephen King universe and make, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe, but a Stephen King universe, and make him all himself, because he has made some great things with the work of this man. It's amazing.
Nice. Amazing.
I wanted to do this before I forgot to do this. So the Godfather book came out in 1969. The movie obviously came out in 72. Harry Potter's first book came out in 1997. The first movie came out in 2001, and then Green Mile came out in 1996, and then the movie came out in 1999.
It's weird how
just wanted to put those in there for the viewers.
Film and scripts so fast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, as soon as somebody reads a book, they the creatives automatically go, "Oh, I'm going to turn this into a movie, or I can see this as a movie," and then they do it.
Yeah, one of the ones I was thinking about for this list, even though it's not one of my favorites, it's just a well-written movie. It's Power of the Dog, because I don't think anybody else has done that book besides Jane Campion. So she kind of makes the film her own, and that's what I respect about that movie. I was talking about it with a work colleague today, and it just made me think about the movie a bit more. Yeah, so Tony,
did you see the movie, Tony?
I was starting to watch it. I'm not I'm not a great fan of the Western, but I started watching it. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I love his work. I think he's an amazing actor, and mainly I'm watching it because of him. I think he's an amazing actor. I love his work.
Cool.
That's the reason why I watched it, because he was in it.
He is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. So
okay.
What's your
number 4 for you, Tony?
My number 4 is actually Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I know you haven't read the books in between, but the third book I think is the best one. It's not as long as the others, After the third one, the 4, 5, 6, 7 are really big books, but the Prisoner of Azkaban is amazing. I think I read it in 2 days. I think I never read a novel so fast. And when the movie was released, I think it was in 2004, was directed by Alfonso Cuarón.
One of my favorite directors.
Yeah, amazing director, of course. And I was really excited when I went to see the film, because I said it was my favorite book of the saga, and it turned out it was my favorite film of the franchise. So it was incredible. It was really dark and scary, and I was totally thrilled. I came out of the theater like, I don't think they can top this. And actually, I think they didn't. In the whole thing of this cinematographic experience, I think it hasn't been beaten.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It seemed to be the turn for the movies was that third one where it seemed darker. It had a big director with a different style than the first two. So it really elevated the series, I think, once that third one hit. That book came out in 1999, and then you're right, the movie came out in 2004.
Nice.
But yeah, great pick.
What's your number 4?
Okay. My number 4, if you know me and Worth of You movies, I love over here. And this movie is all about love, and it's a fantastic film. It's starring Rachel McAdams and the incredible Ryan Gosling, and it's called The Notebook.
Great choice.
Immediately when I was thinking of movies based off of books, this movie immediately just jumped out at me. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what they call like a chick flick. It's a romantic drama, and it just won me over. I think the two characters, you can tell, even if it was real love or fake love, you can tell that their work meant something to them, because I believed them. I believed them as actors. I believed the story. I thought the way that it's told is great, because they're old couple. She has amnesia, so he's telling her their story there, and we get to watch it through his storytelling. And I just think that was really smart. The movie, or the book, was written by Nicholas Sparks, who's a huge author, well known. And it was originally published in 1996, and then the movie came out in 2004. Rachel McAdams, to me, is one of the great actresses that we have out there.
I love her.
I think Ryan Gosling is turning into a big star. So this movie also has James Garner in it, who was such a stud. And then, of course, Gina Rollins as the old Allie. But yeah, fantastic movie. It's a great love story, and I love love. So my number 4 is The Notebook.
Excellent choice, Justin. Excellent
Great choice, no doubt. You
Have you
can
guys
help
seen
by
this?
you can help crying with the ending of that film.
I'd like to see a movie that stands on their entire
it's-
relationship till it leads up to them getting old and in the care home.
So in between.
Yeah, in between. They were just interesting people. I just wanted to learn more about them.
What was that, buddy?
I said they were such interesting characters. I wanted to learn a bit
What'd you
more
say,
about
Rob?
them. I said I wanted to learn a bit more about them as characters.
Yeah, totally. Okay, what's your number 4?
Same as Tony's, Prisoner of Azkaban. And for all the reasons he said, Alfonso Cuarón
We
is
have
one
a
of my
match.
director. This is my introduction to him. This is also my introduction to Gary Oldman, Michael Gambon, and Emma Thompson, who are all just fantastic actors, and they really add some dynamic into this cast. I mean, the Harry Potter cast just keeps getting better and better, and this is the top tier of acting with any I mean, obviously the kids are still settling into the roles, but the adults are so incredible, and obviously Alan Rickman steals the show in every single one of these movies. But yeah, overall, fantastic directing, cinematography is excellent, editing's amazing, and just everything about this movie. And obviously, this is at a time I was young, and back when I was young, all I loved was Harry Potter. I've seen every single Harry Potter movie in the cinema, and I feel like I need to continue this with Fantastic Beasts, even though I'm not really gonna like him as much. But I just like the day out anyway, so I want to go and watch it. And I'm looking forward to Mads Mikkelsen, so I think he'll be better than Johnny Depp.
Ain't no doubt about it.
So yeah,
Mads Mikkelsen.
same. Incredible actor.
That's a good one.
Right, so Tony, what's your
All
number?
right, Tony,
three?
what's your number 3?
Well, number 3, this is where everything starts to get harder. There are plenty of movies based on books I have been thinking about. I'm going to go with Clockwork Orange.
Great choice.
Read the book, saw the film, mesmerizing both. Of course, the movie is far much better than the book. It's a bit hard to read the book because of the old language they use. You have the translation in the back of the book, but it's a bit hard. You get used to it after a few pages, but you really have a really hard time if don't get used to it. But the film is amazing. I don't think the script was really hard to be written because I think it's a very simple script. But the cinematography was amazing. The music score was impeccable. You saw Beethoven, I think, and I think I forgot the name of the other composer. But it's incredible the use of classical music that Kubrick makes, just like in 2001. Just something that really steals it's just a movie. The movie is as important as its protagonist in itself.
Definitely, I do like Clockwork Orange. I don't love it, but I like it. If you get what I mean, it's a fine movie. And
yeah,
Malcolm McDowell is.
I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely a crazy film.
Yeah, definitely not one to show again.
Yeah, the scene. The scene where he's watching those videos and with his eyes is unforgettable. But
nightmarish.
Yeah, so since you've read the book, is there a big difference, or does he pretty much go by the novel?
The thing, the controversy about the book is that in the US, the last chapter was, never published, unlike the UK, in which the last chapter, which Alex actually says to himself, "Okay, I can't be violent again, but I choose not to," that was completely suppressed, because I think in the US they wanted the book to be very much like the film. And Anthony Burgess, the author of the book, really criticized that a lot of times. And I never read the last chapter. I read the movie version of the book. Sorry.
The ending is also
Interesting.
unforgettable as well.
Yeah, first one published in 1962, and the movie came out in 1971. And so the book itself, is there a last chapter?
There's a last chapter in which Alex chooses to, become a good man after the whole Ludovico experience. But I think he found one of his drugs, that he's married with kids, and he starts to make a reflection of himself, and he says, "Okay, I can be violent again, but I choose not to. I really want what he has." I think it was Pete, the drug he encountered, and he says, "Okay, I want a fine life. I don't want to do this killing and raping and stealing stuff anymore."
Crazy.
I really want to read
Wow.
the last chapter because I want to really know if breaks the style, as some people have said. I read some comments in which they say that the last chapter really doesn't really continues with the stylish of the book. I really want to read the chapter to see that, but I haven't been able to do it so far.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, fantastic film. Definitely one of Kubrick's staples. I think this is one that gets talked about a lot out of all of
Yeah.
his,
Totally.
out of all of his 13 films. So
I like Full Metal Jacket.
cool. Good pick.
That's amazing as well.
Oh yeah. What's your thoughts on Barry Lyndon?
It's
My thoughts on Barry Lyndon.
yeah.
Yeah, what's your
I
thoughts
think
about
it
Barry
was
Lyndon?
a really great film. We talk about cinematography,
Yeah.
I think it's long, unnecessarily long.
Yeah.
I think it could be a bit shorter, and nothing is
Definitely.
lost. But I think he makes it slow, and I think it wasn't really the time to make a movie like that because I think it was in the moment where action movies with Stallone, Schwarzenegger was starting to get a high profile, and I think people really didn't want to go to the movies and see a 3 hour long film about an Irishman that really just wants to be a gentleman and marries a widow, and with this really slow low music with the Shabbat music. It's a great film, but I think it could be a bit shorter.
Definitely.
And it was ahead of its time, I guess, is what you're saying. It wasn't
Yeah,
the time for that film to come out. Yeah.
I think it was the answer to Kubrick when his Napoleon film was shut down. He was starting
Yeah.
to work on his Napoleon project for Warner, and Warner just said, "Okay, we don't want to make this movie. It's a bit risky because of the other Napoleon films that were made that weren't very successful in box office." And they said, "Okay, we're not going to support this film. Try to choose something else, and we're going to support you whatever you want to do, but we're not going to support Napoleon." Sometimes I just think to myself, what that movie would have been if Warner just have said, "Okay, this is Stanley Kubrick. He's going to make something incredible, whatever it is." And I think it's a movie
Yeah.
that humanity, for whatever reason there was, is going to be lost forever because the script can be recovered and investigation by Kubrick as well, but it's never going to be a Kubrick film because nobody could make a film like Stanley Kubrick.
No, definitely not.
Have you seen the photos of Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon for the Ridley Scott movie?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
I saw the picture. I wasn't really convinced, but I said the same thing when I saw him as the Joker. When I saw him as the Joker, I just looked at him and said, "That's not the Joker. What is this?" And I think I wasn't the only one. And then I saw the film. I said, "This is incredible. He's going to win the Oscar, no doubt." And that was my opinion. But he always makes something that it is really, really deep. So I think it's going to make a great work. He always does.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah. So Justin, what's
All
your
right.
number 3?
Okay, my number 3 is a movie that I loved. Never read the book. Didn't even realize that it was like a book until later on in my life. The book came out in 1986, written by Winston Groom. Movie came out in 1994, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks, and it's Forrest Gump.
Excellent.
I love me some Forrest Gump, and I don't think that you can get a better performance out of anybody than what Tom Hanks did for Forrest Gump. I just love the character. I think everyone knows the character, and when it comes to movie culture, movie lore, this is something that really stands out. And for us to follow a guy, around for a couple decades, throughout the story and have it be interesting, is really, really, it says something, that means that the character itself is actually interesting. The writing of it has to be interesting, to get us all the way through the couple hours. Yeah, I mean, he's a slow sweetheart, and we just love him. And uh, I, I mean, it is because of Tom Hanks' performance for sure. Because I don't know
And
if it's
the
anybody
amazing
else. If
life that
we,
he lives in the movie. Like, it's not really a performance-driven movie. It's actually a good movie because the story is amazing.
yes, yeah. Some movies are just good because of performance, but this, yeah, also has a great, great film behind it. That performance and other performances too, because I think Robin Wright is so good as Jenny,
Amazing.
and of course Sally Field and Gary Sinise. So I just think it was a perfectly casted movie, great directed movie, great written and adaptation of a book. And I believe that it won Best Screenplay at the Oscars, and of course, picture and actor and director. So uh, it just killed it, and it's a fantastic film. If it's on, I'm at a hotel, right now. If it's on, I just put it on and watch it because it's a great, great film. And the book actually became a series. There's more than just Forrest Gump. There's Gump and Co. And then there's Gumpisms and the Bubba Gump Shrimp Cookbook. So it really spawned off a bunch of other creators.
And
So
don't forget,
my number 3 is Forrest Gump.
this is also both yours and mine's favorite '90s Best Picture winner.
That is also true. It was my favorite film, yeah, of the '90s that won Best Picture. Yeah,
As was mine.
totally. Yeah.
That's one of our first
All
YouTube
right.
episodes. Go and check that out if you're watching.
Yeah, definitely. We've
Right.
done the '90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s.
Yes, we keep
So
meaning
go
to
check
the
them all
80s.
out. Yeah, well, there's still a few movies we have to see, but
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
great. What's your number 3, Rob?
My number 3 is one I didn't realize was based on a book till after I watched it. This movie is technically a performance-driven movie, as you would call it, Justin. But I think it's more of an ending-driven movie because you're watching this really, really slow movie, and then the ending hits you right in the face, and you're entertained throughout the whole movie. It's Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood, based on the book Oil. This stars Daniel Day-Lewis, who plays this oil he plays this oil miner who strikes oil, becomes rich, lets the you see his rise and how the richness corrupts him and makes him this like hermit who is just driven mad by his wealth. And it's Daniel Day-Lewis's show. He steals the show. He's everything I tell people to check out when I'm recommending them this film. But I was thinking about this movie when we first started thinking about films based on books, and that's why I put it in number 3. So my number 3 is There Will Be Blood, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson and starring the Oscar-winning Daniel Day-Lewis.
I haven't watched the film. I haven't read the book.
What do you think, Tony?
And but I think Daniel Day-Lewis steals every single movie he's in. I saw my left foot, which I think was an amazing performance. It was breathtaking, and we all heard the stories about how he prepares himself for his roles, and how he stays in character for during all production. Really crazy stories, but you can see the commitment of this man to his art and his craft. And I think it's an inspiration for every acting generation. It was incredible. I saw as well this other film. how was it? I don't remember the name now, but it was the Age of Innocence, directed by Scorsese. That was amazing as well. So many different characters. You see him and you can really relate him to a single type of character, like you can do with Pacino or De Niro, that they are really gangster types. You can really say Daniel Day-Lewis has a, a a type of character that really is his brand, because he has made so many different characters over years. This is incredible.
Definitely. If you check out the movie There Will Be Blood.
I will. I'm really looking forward to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that ending is unforgettable.
I'll tell you a word.
What were we gonna say, Tony?
Yeah, my number 2.
Sorry.
Okay. Just real quick. Sorry, real quick.
Yeah, what's your opinion on There Will Be Blood, Justin?
Yeah, so the movie is based off of the book called Oil that came out in 1926, and it says the movie is loosely based on the book. So I guess it's too different to be considered like a straight up adaptation of it. But at least that's what it says right here. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the movie. I'm not. I think it's slow, and it is performance driven, because the movie itself is whatever, but the performance obviously is really what drives. And Paul Dano too is also.
Didn't you like the ending? Didn't you like the ending? The ending of the movie. Did you turn it off before the ending?
And there's like, yeah.
Well, you turned
the
it
ending's
off
fine. It's okay. No. I didn't turn it off before the ending. I stay all the way through movies. But there's memorable stuff in there, milkshakes and the bowling, Oil, of course. But yeah, it's all right. I don't know why it didn't hit me, like it does others, but it just didn't. It's one of my best friend's favorite films. I mean, he dressed up as as the character. What's the character's name?
Daniel Plainview.
Yeah, Plainview, yeah. And everyone's like, who's that? And that's exactly the point, is like, who is that? Nobody would ever dress up as Daniel Plainview for Halloween.
I wouldn't.
But yeah, it's a big film, and actually I'm a little surprised that you haven't seen it, Tony. Do you normally watch Paul Thomas Anderson movies, or?
I watched Boogie Nights and I watched Magnolia.
Great movie.
I wanted to watch Phantom Thread, but I haven't been able to do it. So,
but
I really want to watch There Will Be Blood, mainly because of Daniel Day-Lewis, his work, whatever movie.
I prefer Phantom Thread, no doubt.
Oh, it is beautiful. You have to admit, yeah. You have to admit.
Yeah,
I do like Phantom Thread.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I'm not tearing down the movie. I can't. It's already solid. Like, I can't tear it down. It just didn't hit me the way that others. But yeah. And I didn't ask you, Tony. How do you feel about Forrest Gump? Real quick.
Forrest Gump. I think it's a brilliant film. Not my favorite of that year, of course, and you're going to see why in a minute. But I think that, unlike you guys have said, I think it's a movie that is the performance is the main attraction of the film. Nobody could have done the role except for Tom Hanks. I don't know if you guys knew it, but the first choice of Zemeckis was actually John Travolta for that film.
Yes, but he chose
But he toned it down. He toned it down for Pulp Fiction. And I don't think we can ever imagine John Travolta playing Forrest Gump. At least I can place him in that role. And what comes to his performance, I think I prefer Philadelphia and then Forrest Gump, because Philadelphia is heartbreaking film. When he gets out of Denzel Washington's office and he puts his cap and starts looking all over the street and the despair on his eyes. I think that was the scene that really got him the Oscar.
Definitely. I
Heartbreaking.
keep meaning to rewatch Philadelphia. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I have to rewatch it again, mainly to see his performance. Not
Definitely.
because I can remember.
I love Denzel too.
That's right. But I prefer Philadelphia and then Forrest Gump.
Nice.
Copy that. All right.
So what's
Let's
your number
hear
2?
your silver.
Well, my number 2 is the reason for which Forrest Gump is not my 1994 favorite film, and that's because it's The Shawshank Redemption, based on the short novel Rita Hayworth on The Shawshank Redemption, written by Stephen King.
I was considering that, but I do love The Green Mile a little bit more.
That's right. As I said, Frank Darabont is amazing.
Film, I have more of a connection with Green Mile.
You connected more with The Green Mile?
Yeah, because obviously Michael Clark Duncan's character has special needs, and obviously I'm autistic,
that's right.
so I kind of obviously see with a disability standpoint what it's like to be mistreated and stuff.
That's right. I think The Shawshank Redemption, what it has, as well as The Green Mile does, is much better than the original source. I read the novella.
Yeah,
and it's nice. It's really well written. Stephen King is a really good writer.
he is.
But the movie is incredible. How do you take a novella of 150 pages, and I think I'm getting it a little bit long, into an almost 3-hour film? I think it lasts I think a bit more than 3 hours.
Yeah,
and you never feel it like it's that long. You always say, okay, I wanted this to go on. I really want to know what's going to happen after that. And it's incredible. It's a movie that you can watch over and over again. You never get tired of it.
So you think that this should have won Best Picture over Forrest Gump?
Yeah, I definitely think so, yeah. Also, best screenplay, because it's amazing. It's amazing.
What'd you say, Rob?
I said, in my opinion, I wish Pulp Fiction won. That's my favorite 94 movie.
Shawshank Redemption, the book, came out in 1982, and the movie itself came out in 1994, as we talked about. Fantastic movie. I mean, both performances are really, really incredible. The ending is phenomenal. There's tension throughout the entire movie. It's almost like a semi-thriller. I think that's a really, really good choice. It came up on a lot of lists when I was doing the research, and I think that's really smart. Sounds like you like Stephen King a lot.
Yeah, I do. I have read almost every single thing that this man has written over the years.
Nice. Excellent. What's your number 2 then?
Did he?
Oops, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone before he could give us his number 2.
Okay, let's see if we can get him back soon.
Yeah, I'm back.
And you're back in the room.
Yay.
Yeah. Now you can tell us your number 2.
Okie dokie. My number 2 is a book it's a movie as well, but the book came out in 1925. One of my favorite eras ever is the 1920s, and this book takes place in the 1920s, and the movie itself, it does. There's actually 2 movies that came out based off of this book, all titled Great Gatsby, and I'm picking 1974 Great Gatsby.
Not my favorite Baz Luhrmann movie.
Not your favorite Baz Luhrmann movie. No, I'm going with the original Robert Redford, Mia Farrow, also Bruce Dern's in this movie. But yeah, this is one of the other ones that I've actually read and seen. I read the book, obviously, in high school. It was huge for us, and I just couldn't put it down. I really enjoyed it. I love the theme of the book and how it really plays in to life. We kind of want to live this life and be a part of this world, and I really enjoyed it. It's written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The screenplay was written by Francis Ford Coppola. But yeah, one of my favorite tidbits about this movie is during this time was like Watergate, I believe, and
Watergate
Robert.
happened in the 7th. Oh wait, the movie, not the.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah,
Sorry,
uh,
Justin.
it's okay. Watergate was happening during this time, and Robert Redford was so obsessed with it that in between like takes and setups, he would just be glued to the TV watching it, almost to the point where it ruined and affected his performance. You can kind of see, especially with other movies that he acts in, that he is a little distracted in this one. It's almost like he's a lot.
Leo really captured the character of Jay Gatsby.
Well, yeah, if we're going who did a better Jay, then I guess Leo did, because Robert Redford was so distracted. But you can tell, and I really dislike that because I'm an actor myself, and I think that whatever's going on in your life, you
You'd
need to put
actually
it.
make a good Jay Gatsby. You have tons of the charm.
Hey, thanks, Rob. We haven't even met in person, so that's a good thing. But yes, this also has some love elements and thematics to it, so I love that. But the thing that gets me the most is that it's set in the 1920s, and it's a well-written book, very, very well written. I mean, F. Scott Fitzgerald's one of our, treasures out there. It did win 2 Oscars for Best Music and Best Costume Design. So yeah, my number 2, my silver, is The Great Gatsby, 1974.
So besides the Robert Redford thing, it's a better movie than the Baz Luhrmann.
I do think it's a better movie than the Baz Luhrmann one. Yeah, the Baz Luhrmann one is.
I'm assuming the effects aren't as good as the Baz Luhrmann one.
No, but that's the difference. Is this Baz Luhrmann put it up on this huge grand scale where the movie, the 1974 one, is a little more. Obviously it's toned down more to the book, more about the 1920s styling than being lavish and colorful and partier. Directed by Jack Clayton. What do you think about this movie, Tony? Or have you seen it?
I haven't seen the movie. Neither of both. Despite I love Leo DiCaprio, I love his performances. I read the book. It wasn't really of my liking for me to read it because I didn't just. The style was not the style I like to read.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him.
If we weren't learning about the 1920s in school and actually talking about the book together, because it's kind of like a book club, I probably would have been in the same same field as you, Tony, because it's better to talk with somebody about it and the themes and stuff. And when you're just reading it by yourself, you're kind of like, this is slightly boring, So I totally see that. And we know, Rob, you love Baz Luhrmann, Great Gatsby.
Yes, I do.
But you haven't read the book?
No, I would like to, though, or listen to an audiobook of it.
Yeah. All right. What's your silver?
You should know already. The greatest
silver
trilogy of all time, The Lord of the Rings, and because I'm fair, if I had to pick one movie, it'd be Return of the King. I know Return of the King differs from the book a lot, but in Peter Jackson's image and writing loads of stuff down and having a lot of planning involving this, he makes a masterpiece. He ends the trilogy on a high and makes a masterpiece. I can't imagine or think of another director who has done this. I watched War of the Planet of the Apes for the first time the other day, and that's all of a sudden my favorite in the Planet of the Apes trilogy. And it was the same when I watched all three Lord of the Rings films in 2018. I fell in love with them, but most importantly, I love that ending, and I love that climax to end that great trilogy, and it still stands in my day from 2008, 4 years ago. It's still my favorite trilogy to date, and I mean, Dark Knight is my favorite sequel, but Return of the King is my favorite third movie, and that says a lot if your third movie in a trilogy is your best. Do you love Lord of the Rings, guys?
I read the books. I thought it was a bit childish. That when I read the book, I felt a bit disappointed because
Really? Because I
I was
heard that the book's a lot complicated than the films are.
I don't think that complicated. I think that Tolkien was very much in love with the world he created than with the story itself. Because when you read the book, he makes these amazing descriptions about the cities and the characters and
Yes.
the the style of life, but not really story. The story is really simple. It's a big book if you take the three books into one together. But the thing is that the movies, actually my favorite one of the trilogy was the the Fellowship of the Ring. That's not the Return of the King. That's the second place. But mainly because Two Towers and Return of the King are very much like each other. You know, they're not very that different. They had
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
kind of warlike movie.
No,
Fellowship
Fellowship
is
is
more
my
like
second
suspense film.
favourite. Fellowship's my second, so I like the way it introduces the universe.
Exactly. But even that way, the film it really takes its distance from the source material because, as I said, the movie for me it felt a little childish. So it was like a reading a fairy tale, which that's basically what Lord of the Ring is. But I was expecting for something a little more grown up, and I didn't find that.
Yeah.
Maybe the style is for an adult, but the story was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is like a fairy tale.
I've just thought of a good question for you, Tony. Are you a fan of Song of Ice and Fire or Game of
No,
Thrones?
no. I watched the first season of Game of Thrones. I started watching the second, and then I left it basically because it's not a bad series. It's an amazing series, but it just didn't feel. It's not something I just am going to watch
Yeah.
alone.
It's a
I, I
good.
watch it. I watch it
It's
with
a
my
good thing you
sister.
left it when you did. To be fair, 'cause it kind of goes downhill from there.
I watched the series with my sister. She got crazy about the series, and she said to me, "You have to watch this." And we sat together and we watched the first season. Then we started watching the second one. And when she said, "Okay, now just do it yourself," she didn't want to watch the whole series again. So she said, "Okay, now you have your homework. Watch the rest of the series yourself." And never did it. I just said, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'm gonna do it." I never did. And she said to me, "You watched the series?" No, I haven't watched it. No, yeah, I had to.
Justin, which one do you prefer, Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones? Remember, Lord of the Rings ends on a high, Game of Thrones ends on a low.
Well, I don't mind the ending to Game of Thrones, so I know a lot of people really disliked it. Um, I guess I mean, I'm a movie guy more than anything, so I guess I appreciate the movies more. But I was a Game of Thrones guy. I really enjoyed it. But my favorite Lord of the Rings is actually The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug. So, which is one of the
Controversial,
worst,
but it's typical
which I know is one of
Justin.
the worst.
No,
Yeah,
it's the best
exactly.
out of the three Hobbits. I'm fair. I'll give it that. I'll
Yeah.
let you off just this once.
Thank you. Return of the King was published in 1955, and the movie came out in 2003.
And won every single Oscar it was nominated. And I bet there were so many Lord of the Rings fans who were cheering just to piss off the film industry. that finally
Yeah.
the blockbuster has won so many awards.
Yeah, but none of them for acting. So there's that.
Well, it's not really the acting there fantastic, but it's more of an ensemble. You don't really want to nominate anybody for acting because it'll be fair just to nominate one person when the cast is fantastic.
Yeah.
We have to remember that Ian McKellen was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for the first film.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's the only exception because he kind of is the heart and soul of that movie.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, he is the heart and soul of that movie. So, Tony, what is your favorite movie based on a book?
Really have to ask. You really have to ask.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, it's The Shining,
Yeah.
directed by Stanley Kubrick, released in 1980,
Amazing,
adapted
amazing
from the
movie.
novel from Stephen King,
In my top
starring
Kubrick as
the
well.
great and unique Jack Nicholson, which is my favorite actor of all time.
He's
the
my
guy.
favorite classic actor. Because he's
Your
retired now,
favorite-
I count him as a classic actor.
He's amazing. He's the guy who made me want to be an actor. I started acting because of him,
Nice.
and it's great. I saw the performance, and the performance is great. It has some lines that became classic, like "Come play with us." Here's Johnny. No work or play, or work no play makes Jack a dull boy, and several others. And of course, the use of the Steadicam is incredible in this film. So, as I said with Clockwork Orange, you can really make a movie like Stanley Kubrick, and he really did a classic for the whole horror genre.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really sort of put horror on a different platform than what it was. I mean, it's intelligent horror, it's not just jump scares. This is like actual scary.
The build up is what makes the movie. You need that build up to just let everything loose at the end. And that's what makes the film fantastic.
Tony, have you seen the documentary Room 236 or whatever?
Haven't been able, but I'm really looking forward to it because I read about it, and it talks about whole conspiracy things about the film, and I'm really thrilled about it. I have to find it, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I have the DVD, The Life in Pictures of Kubrick, the documentary.
Of course, yeah.
Narrated by Tom Cruise, which I've been meaning to check out.
I also saw the documentary Making The Shining that was shot by Vivian Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick's daughter.
Ooh.
And it was incredible because it's not a documentary like interviews. Well, there's a part of interview as well, but she is in the set filming Jack Nicholson just being there. It starts, the documentary starts with Jack Nicholson speaking on the phone with somebody and then getting ready to go to the set. So,
my second favorite movie of 1980 as well.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
My favorite film of 1980 is Empire Strikes Back, which I know isn't based off a book.
Have you seen Dr. Sleep, Tony?
I watched Dr. Sleep several times, read the book, read The Shining as well. I think I read The Shining about 7 times, one of my favorite books of all time. And Dr. Sleep wasn't particularly scary. The book isn't scary either, but it's a very good sequel. I think the heart of the book is really is very well respected, because I don't know if you guys have read the book, but the ending is very emotional. Unlike the film, in which he tries to link the Stephen King book with the Kubrick film, which are very nothing alike. And I think Mike Flanagan just made an amazing work with that. Because
he's a fantastic director.
It's amazing. A screenplay as well. I have seen almost everything this man has done. Never get disappointed. And it's amazing. I'm looking forward to see what's going to do next. I think his next project is going to be the third edition of Haunting. I think it's going to be The Fall of the Usher House by Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm really looking forward to be as scared as I was when I watched The Haunting of Hill House.
He's he,
What were you
he
going to
writes.
say, Rob?
He seems like he's a man who writes good series.
Do you think that the scene in Doctor Sleep with the Jack Torrance character
I've
was good
still
enough?
not seen it.
Was good enough as The Shining one?
The scene with the Jack Torrance, I think a lot of people were a little like mad because of that scene, because you can replace maybe Shelley Duvall, but you can replace Jack Nicholson. Not even with Henry Thomas, which he has something, a resemblance with Jack Nicholson, but it's Jack Nicholson. You can replace him.
No, you
Yeah.
can't.
The Shining was written and released in 1977, and then the movie itself was released in 1980.
Andrew, do you know the common fact, the most probably well-known fact about The Shining is Stephen King did not like the movie and what Stanley Kubrick did with it?
Yeah. It's been known. It's a good film. I mean, let's just put that.
He's allowed
out
his
there.
opinion, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I mean, when you collected the money after somebody's like, "Hey, I want to, adapt your book," I'm sure you weren't as upset. You were
I don't
very
think he was
grateful
upset.
with
He
that
was
money.
he just probably wasn't a fan of the movie.
Yeah, but
So, what's
he's a
your
fan of that
favorite
money, man.
movie or movies based on books?
All right, my number one was gonna be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it doesn't count. So my number one it was going to be my number two. I'm not mad about it because it is one of my all-time favorite movies. Originally, this book was published in 1990. It was written by Michael Crichton, and the movie itself came out in 1993. One of my all-time favorite movies ever, and it's Jurassic Park.
I love that movie.
Amazing film.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's just the best visual film, literally, from the cinematography and special effects and Spielberg's directing. It's just a well-presented movie. And the visuals make it entertaining as well, because you can't write these dinosaur attacks in a book that well. You have to literally see the dinosaurs attack the people.
Yeah, this was, I mean, I was gonna, just go on that same sort of rant. I mean, what Steven Spielberg did for this movie is just unbelievable. He's so good at what he does and how he plans to do movies that they came in 43 days early, which is like unheard of for the budget that they had. I mean, because I've seen like every second of footage that you can possibly see when it comes to this movie. He just practiced everything, even like his shots. Like he'd take a camera and then like for the car, the Jeep, for example, and the T-Rex, he was a little model, and he just would take like a camera and get his angles. He knew exactly the angles that he wanted before he even got to the set.
I love the shot where they're in the trees and they see the dinosaurs. The necks, that's beautiful. And obviously that scene where Laura Dern's looking at the dinosaurs and it cuts to them seeing the dinosaurs. That's fantastic.
Yeah, after Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I don't get how Steven Spielberg made the two greatest movies of 1993 with Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. No man has ever made two hit movies in the same year like he has.
Yeah, Schindler's List also based off a book. I haven't read this book. I know it's a long one and it gets a lot of praise. But I just don't
I
think
also
that.
like the TV show Westworld, which is also based off a Michael Crichton book, and they're kind of similar because they're both based on theme parks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Sam Neill's phenomenal in this movie. Laura Dern,
He
Jeff
is.
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum,
I
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. You also have BD Wong, who's actually in the new series. He's a part of the same series, so that's really cool.
Yes,
I like that he
and
stuck
so is,
around.
and they're all in it now.
Yeah, apparently they're all back. Wayne Knight as Nedry, who is the reason why everything went sideways.
It's fun to see him play the villain rather than a comic relief. Well, he
Yeah.
plays both, but it works.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just love this movie so freaking much. It's a great adventure film. Steven Spielberg is just a master at what he does. He's done other movies that,
John
based off
Williams'
of books.
music is phenomenal as well.
And it just stands the test of time. Like, you put that on now and it's still amazing. I mean, it's
It's
just
weird how I just said John Williams and you immediately knew what I meant because the man's a legend.
yeah, exactly. Tony, how do you feel about this movie?
I haven't read the book. I love the movie. One of my favorite scenes is the one in the kitchen when they are with the raptors and they're trying to, okay, let's do this really quietly because these monsters are here. And it's a real. If you think about it, it's a really difficult scene to shoot because you have a lot of reflection surfaces. You have to place the camera really really well. And as Rob said, the music score is amazing. I think the only reason why it wasn't nominated for an Academy Award that year was because this was already Schindler's List, and the yeah, it's an amazing
I mean,
film.
it still won 3 Oscars: best sound, best
Best
effects.
sound, best setting sound, and best visual
I'm just
effects.
annoyed that it wasn't nominated for Best Picture because then Steven Spielberg would have had 2 films nominated for Best Picture in the same year.
Yeah, that would have been insane.
I mean, if they had 10 films like they do now, it would have been in there. No question.
Yeah, no doubt at
But
all. Yeah, the other ones.
let's hope when the Facebook group were in the alternative Oscars one, let's hope when they get to 1993, they'll consider Oscars for their thing.
Well, the nominees for that year, besides Schindler's List, was also The Fugitive, The Piano, In the Name of the Father, and The Remains of the Day.
I've only seen 2 of their movies, and that's The Piano and what was the first one you said?
Schindler's List.
Fugitive.
Oh,
I'm
The
racing The
Fugitive.
Piano and The Fugitive out of them 4.
Yeah, The Remains of the Day is based off a book as well. So, pretty good. Great. Well, there you have it. That's my number one. What's your number one, Rob? What's coming in gold?
Right, you ready for my number one? You probably know what it is, but if I do talk about this movie, I will be breaking the first 2 rules. So do you mind if I break the first 2 rules?
Let's break the first 2 rules.
Right, my number one is Fight Club.
Written by Chuck Palahniuk.
Directed by David Fincher, starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Jared Leto, Helena Bonham Carter, Meatloaf. Are you not listening? This movie is fantastic. The way this movie is constructed, I don't think it's. I heard the book really differs than the movie. The movie is more its own thing, so I'm going to talk about the movie. I'd like to read or hear an audiobook of the film to see the difference, but I just think this movie is amazing. The way how this guy who's been punched down all his life just wants to escape life. He's stuck in a rut. He meets Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt, and together they start a fight club, and it escalates into bad, and it all just goes out of hand. And then you work out the twist, and it all goes mad from there. and then it ends on a beautiful note. I just think this movie is incredible the way it's crafted. David Fincher is one of my favorite directors of all time purely because of this movie. Brad Pitt is one of my favorite actors purely for his performance that just steals the movie. Every time he's not on screen, you just kind of miss him. I mean, Edward Norton, I mean, he is kind of his own act. He's a very special actor, but in this movie, he's incredible. Helena Bonham Carter not playing a posh Brit or Bellatrix for a change. Seeing her playing American, she's fantastic. This was my introduction to Jared Leto. I had no idea he was in a rock band. No idea he was this weird bloke. And then there's Meatloaf, who I didn't realise was better acting. Yeah, I do think this movie is incredible. My all-time favourite movie. It has been since 2009. It was 2001, A Space Odyssey for a little bit. When I rewatched, I remember the White was my favourite movie, and I think this will always be my favourite movie. So yeah, my number one is Fight Club. Have you guys seen this movie?
I haven't read the book, but I saw the film. I liked it. Wasn't something that said okay. But the thing is, I wasn't impressed by the ending by one thing, and that's because Facebook was full of memes with that thing. So that completely spoiled the experience for me.
Yeah, that is the problem because the
That's a
twist
problem,
is
yeah.
so famous. You might already know it before you watch.
Exactly,
Might let
exactly.
the film down for you. But if you can see past it, because after
Of course,
every other
of course.
watch, like the second and third watch, and every other time I watched it, you're working out like the clues of what of can it and really only to obviously the twist and that's leading up to the twist. And I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody who hasn't seen it, but
It's
you know,
like you said, when you are taking a journey, you really don't have to look at the destination alone. You have to enjoy the journey all on itself.
definitely.
That's
But
what I
Fight
try to
Club is
do.
entertaining. I know it might not be everybody's thing, but to me, I just find it entertaining.
It was entertaining. David Fincher is one of my favorite actors as well, but they directors, sorry.
Yeah,
And but Fight Club is not definitely my favorite film of him. That's 7 with Brad Pitt as well. And in second place, I will set Zodiac with Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal
great
and Mark
movie.
Ruffalo.
Do you like The Social Network?
I liked it, but it wasn't a Fincher film, as we would say.
It's more of an
I,
Aaron Sorkin movie,
that's
isn't it?
right. That's right. That's right. I think Panic Room. I liked it more.
Yeah.
I think Panic Room was amazing.
Yeah. What's your favorite David Fincher movie, Justin?
I'm looking right now. Let's see. I mean, I liked Zodiac a lot. I just came into it too late. How about
I like
I don't
Mank.
know. Yeah, I like Mank a lot. Alien 3 I haven't seen. It might be 7. I think it's 7 as well. It is really, really good.
I've
Curious Case of
needed to
Benjamin Button.
rewatch 7 because of how it reminded me so much of the Batman.
Oh, yeah, I think mine's 7 as well.
Would Fight Club be in your top 5?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's your opinion on Fight Club? I never actually properly asked you. I just know you like the movie.
Yeah, I think the movie's really good. I'm a big Brad Pitt fan, so I'll watch almost any. I mean, I'll watch everything he's in.
I'm glad you like him because people make fun at me for liking him.
No, he's a really good actor. He's very, very universal.
He is.
I mean, for somebody that's just been known for his looks his entire life, I mean, he actually still has good acting chops,
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the movie. Yeah, I'm never. It didn't hit me like it hit you, obviously, but I also knew the twist before going into it, which was kind of sad because it took me a few years before I finally saw it. But I think it's a great idea. Like it's the whole idea of it is really
the psychological
cool.
side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a smart film. It's really, really smart. So yeah, the book came out in 1996. and the movie came out in 1999.
Nice.
So it looks like these movies and book adaptations, it only takes about 2-3 years, and then
What about Tolkien wrote his books 50 years before Peter Jackson made his movie?
and most of the ones, because obviously The Great Gatsby came out in 25, and the movie came out in 74.
They were only starting out making movies back in the 1920s. I don't think they would have had the budget to make The Great Gatsby to screen just then.
Well, we have
No.
to remember that for years, for a lot of years, Lord of the Rings was seen as an impossible project to be made.
Yeah, they make a joke about it in The Simpsons.
Really, I don't remember that. Did you?
Yeah, in the 90s episode, the comic book guy has a cameo in it, and back when he's younger, and he says, and that's why the Lord of the Rings should never become films.
Awesome, fantastic! What a list. Let's list them again. Let's go down 5 to 1. You go ahead, Tony. What's your number 5?
Number 5 was The Godfather. My fourth one was Harry Potter.
We'll go. I'll go, and then Rob will go, and then you go. And
okay.
We'll
Sorry.
No, it's okay. My number 5 is the entire Harry Potter series.
My number 5 is The Green Mile.
My fourth one is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban,
which is also my number 4.
Yeah. My number 4 is The Notebook.
What's your number 3, Tony?
My number 3 is Clockwork Orange.
My number 3 is Forrest Gump.
And my number 3 is There Will Be Blood.
My number 2, I'm sorry, is The Shawshank Redemption.
My number 2 is the 1974 Great Gatsby.
My number 2 is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
And my number 1 is The Shining.
My number 1 is Jurassic Park.
And my number 1 is Fight Club.
Nice. Well, we all had at least one crossover, which is awesome, and you two linked up on one together, so that's pretty amazing. Because like you came in here, Tony, saying is there's hundreds of movies based on books, thousands, and for us to link up on some similar ones is pretty crazy.
To consider Paddington 2, but I feel like it's based on more the character of Paddington rather than any other book. If you get what I mean.
I do, but I think that totally would have counted. Totally.
Yeah,
because it is based off of
comic books, so we can talk about that another day.
Yeah, comic book movies are different.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, Tony, do you have a movie recommendation for this week? Have you seen anything that you've enjoyed that maybe you want to talk about a little bit?
No, truly haven't been able to watch a lot of films. I've been studying really hard these days, but I'm really looking forward to see The Batman. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. They say it's amazing, so I'm really looking forward to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's
if we're going on recommendations, Justin, that will be mine this week.
The Batman?
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely incredible. It's my favorite movie of 2022 so far. I really liked the screenplay, and it just how Matt Reeves was able to make his own version that felt like it was a mix between Christopher Nolan's Batman and Tim Burton's Batman, but more of a like Detective, Seven, Zodiac, Chinatown kind of experience you get with it as well, and that's why I really enjoyed it a lot. Robert Pattinson, when he's in the Batsuit, he's fantastic. When he's outside Bruce Wayne, he's okay. I think he needs a bit more time to work on it. Colin Farrell steals the show. Zoe Kravitz is amazing. Paul Dano is better than Jim Carrey. Sorry, Justin, I know you love Jim Carrey. And just this universe Matt Reeves creates with Greg Fraser doing the cinematography and Michael Giacchino doing the score. This movie is absolutely incredible, and I highly recommend you check it out. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Batman biased, because I still like The Dark Knight.
What do you like better now?
Dark Knight. I prefer the Batman to Michael Keaton's one, and all the ones we listed the other week.
Yeah, we just did. We just listed our. We just ranked the entire Batman film franchise. What would be your number one, Tony? Dark Knight.
That would be the Dark Knight, of course. In second place, I
Yeah.
would place the Dark Knight Rises, and in third place, Batman Begins. So
Nice.
the Nolan trilogy is amazing, because we have to remember that the Batman character returned from what is the disaster known as Batman and Robin, was horrible. Anyway, you see it. Anything you look about that movie is horrible. You know, the script, the acting, everything, and they actually George Clooney said, "I destroyed the franchise," until Nolan brought it back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he says he always apologized for Batman and Robin, which I think is very honest and very nice.
Yeah.
How many times can you get an actor to really apologize for a movie that is so well known, not well received?
Definitely. Do you have a recommendation for this week, Justin?
Well, I haven't seen much this week. I did see the Batman. I enjoyed it very much. I saw Pan's Labyrinth finally, but
I love that movie.
unfortunately, I can't recommend it. I just didn't like it the way that everyone else does. So,
You still prefer
uh,
Nightmare Alley?
oh God, like hands down, is it better than
But
Pan's Labyrinth? No
Pan's
question,
Labyrinth,
in my opinion. In my opinion,
The Shape of Water's better than Pan's Labyrinth, in my opinion.
No,
I agree.
come on, come on.
I totally agree. I didn't like Pan's Labyrinth. I thought I would. I don't know why I didn't like it, but
I
just
love Pan's Labyrinth. I just love it. It's one of
yeah.
my favorite movies of all time.
It's not one of my favourites, so it's not really upsetting me whether that it's not Justin's thing. I understand that he has more of an acquired taste to me.
But you love it, Tony. It's one of your favorites.
Pan's Labyrinth, I loved it. I wasn't expecting much
Yeah.
from it when I watched it the first time, but when I saw it, when I watched it, I was like mesmerized because of the acting, the production design, the score,
Mhm.
and the cinematography is amazing. It was just
I
incredible.
wish they lived more in that universe. You know,
Yeah.
just hang out
yeah.
more in the labyrinth. You know, I
Would you
really
rather
like
watch
the
Alice in
characters.
Wonderland, Justin?
Rather, I don't know. I don't know if I'd rather, but I really liked when we were in the world, and I wanted to live there more. But
I
I mean,
take
it's
it that's
fine.
why you prefer Thrones and Lord of the Rings compared to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I like to live in worlds when they're cool worlds. Yeah, so I don't really have a recommendation. The movie came out this week that I've enjoyed watching was Turning Red, the
Ah,
Disney
nice.
Pixar movie.
We'll be talking about that later, won't we?
Yeah, we're gonna do it for my channel. I
Yeah.
still have
Did you
like
see?
20 minutes left.
Did you like the Adam Project?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm watching
You'll
it
like
tonight.
it. You'll like it.
I'm gonna watch it right now. Actually,
Nice. I
Yeah,
hope you
I'm
guys
excited.
enjoy it.
it has
I'm excited.
an ET like style, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
The
I've
boy with the
heard
flashlight in the woods. It reminded me a lot of Harry Thomas in E.T.
Yeah.
one of my
Right. I
favorite
think
films.
I'm going to end the show here. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure to have
Yes.
you
Oh
on the
my
show.
God.
It was
And
my
it's so
pleasure.
good to
Thank you
finally
guys for
meet
having me
you.
here. Thank you a lot for
Yeah,
having me here, guys.
Tony and I have been friends talking on Instagram for like a year at least,
Like a
Nice.
year
right?
at least, yeah.
Nice. Well, me and
And
Justin networked because of Twitter, so you got to have a link to everybody on social media, and they
socials.
say don't talk
Yeah.
to strangers.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony, can people find you anywhere? Do you want people, to follow you, or yeah, you're a writer, which is why we did this whole thing. Is there anywhere where we can see some of your works, or anywhere where you want to lead people to?
Well, I have a published novel, but I'm really right now I'm not really comfortable with it because it's a novel that was my first attempt. But I'm writing a Wattpad, a novel. It's in Spanish,
Ooh.
of course, and I'm working on some other things as well. And my Instagram account is Tony López 88, and I have a Facebook page that is called Cinéfilo de Alma, you know, cinephile soul in Spanish,
Ooh, I'll have to check that out.
and well, it's a project I started about a month ago, and it's going very well so far. So I'm looking forward to start some other things, like a YouTube channel and TikTok and Instagram, and start growing from there.
Nice one. We'll have to collaborate on your channel one day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd love to. Perfect. And where do you live again, Tony?
I live in Uruguay. It's in South America,
Ah, Uruguay.
Beautiful.
and
You have
a really tiny piece of land in the corner of the world.
yeah. No, I love
And you're the
the
first
accent.
country ever to win the Football World Cup.
That's right. They have won twice the World Cup.
More than England have. We've only won it once.
There's still time. Just have faith. Come on.
Yeah.
You have a great team.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, you can find me at Worth a View Movies and all the things. Yeah, check out TikTok if you guys have it. I post more things on there than I do on my other stuff. Just little
It's
things,
easier
fun
to make
things.
TikTok videos nowadays.
Yeah. But I want stuff to just be exclusive to certain socials, like
Yeah, I get
I don't want it to
I
be
get
I don't want it to always be the same on every channel. I want it to be a little bit different on this channel, a little bit different on
Yeah.
that one. And yeah, I've been doing more TikTok stuff, but so go check all that stuff out at Worth the View Movies. And yeah, the next movie coming up, Rob and I are going to be talking about Turning Red, the new
And make
Disney
sure you
Pixar
join us
movie.
next week because Cody's coming back and we're going to talk about the films of Judd Apatow.
We're going to rank our Judd Apatow films for in lieu of his new or in highlighting of his new film coming out pretty soon,
Which looks hilarious and I can't wait to see it.
And Rob's at all the things, the Fleming Film Show,
Robbie's reviews.
also Robbie's reviews. What was your last written one?
Well, I have one on the Batman. We did a Jane Campion rank list for International Women's Day, and every Monday we review a Marvel movie.
What's this Monday?
This Monday coming up is Blade 2.
Ooh, nice.
Last Monday's, I think, was Spider-Man 2.
Great. Well, we'll look forward to that. And yeah, we look forward to next week with Cody and Tony. Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. You are very knowledgeable.
And you have a great taste in movies.
Thank you very
have
much.
a fantastic taste in movies, yes. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Tony.
Let's hope we can do it again.
Oh, definitely we will.
Yeah.
We will. We're always happy to have you
Definitely
back
will.
on the subject you fancy talking
Thank you.
about.
Yeah, why don't you think of something that you want to talk about or rank, Tony, and then throw it our way, and we'll do it in the future.
No problem at all. I'll start thinking right now.
Excellent,
All right.
excellent. All right, take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.